All right, my babies, how are we? We are recording, yes. How's it going? Has it been a while? No, 2 days, I guess. Yes, yes. So, another day, another video, y'all. Today's video is about copying versus stealing. This is a fun one. It actually caught me off guard a while back. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it live and what do you guys think? Mm. Pretty sure I mentioned it on many occasions. It's funny, I've been realizing this pattern because anytime like I write something, the next video after it or the next few videos after it are within that flow of whatever I wrote down because they build on top of each other, right? And the conversation kind of like starts moving in a certain direction. So it's funny, always is. Think deeply of life, but don't take it seriously. And take yourself seriously, but don't think deeply of yourself. This is my favorite guy in the world, Miyamoto Musashi. And the idea is everything about life has depth, but you can't take it seriously because literally there are many variables. When it comes to you, you kind of like instigate those variables, you create them. So don't think deeply of yourself. And you have to take yourself seriously. I don't know if it's a contrast, but I feel it's the perfect harmony between like your expression and your understanding, right? Because when you understand something, you're absorbing it, and when you're expressing something, you're kind of like throwing it out there. Anyways, that's like one of those keys. Copying versus stealing. Oh, the reason I mentioned it is because I said it's funnier. So copying versus stealing. Kuroro Basket. Yes, it's a basketball anime that I was watching because when I hang out with my dad, he only wants to watch action flicks. A lot of bombs, a lot of shit. Super fun shit. Don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, I want to see. I but once you see enough like movies with explosions, you tend to become a lot more, let's just say, peculiar about how you want the camera to to be angled when something's blowing up or being shot. It's most American movies, right? Because they lack the storyline. What they have is literally just the production. But anyways, here I am right now talking about copying versus stealing. Both of them technically are not necessarily skills that you would want to actually like incorporate in yourself because all of us want to be authentic, but we can only be as authentic as we're capable of. And effectively inspiration happens from where? From life. Whether it is from people, whether it is a butterfly, or even a piece of shit on the side of the road and somebody sleeping next to it. I personally will get inspired to not be picky. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's at a young age. I kind of like didn't mind trash, actual trash, but I also like would mind it closer to me. So I would, as long as I know where it is and it's not all over the place, right? So there's mess and there's messy. But the skill of copying and the skill of stealing, and it's basketball. So like what we're talking about here are people having skills and effectively basic you learn from somebody by either copying what they're doing or doing it how they do it, right? So no, so copying is doing it how they do it, and that's the whole like. Anyways, I'm getting to that. So the difference between copying and stealing is one thing. When you copy something, you're basically whatever the original is, you're taking it, and you're taking, let's say, at maximum, maximum, maximum. At your best, if you're like a master at it, you're taking about 98, 99%. It can't be helped. But that 1% that makes it 100, because you're not the one who created it, so you don't have that 1%. You can never have it. That 1% is basically twice the value of the entire of whatever you're able to do within that 99%. Because that 1% is the originality. Now that's in copy, but when it comes to stealing, it's practically copying something and making it an original of you. And the only added difference is rhythm, because in basketball you can copy somebody's technique, but it only becomes yours when you actually apply your rhythm on it. Because then you're flowing it, you're applying it to your flow. But while you're copying it based on their flow. Maybe now it's making more sense. But so it hit me. It really hit me because it's the same with cooking. Like just follow the recipe. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how good the recipe is. For some reason, when your mom cooks the same thing and keeps teaching you, and even though you're cooking it exactly on how she says it, it's not the same because you're not there. There's that gap, that like small gap between the fact that she does it her in a way she's doing it, and she's teaching you how she does it with the recipe and all that stuff. But you also have to kind of like apply yourself for that 1% because you're not when that 1% hits, it's no longer your mom's cooking recipe, it becomes yours. And I'm the kind of guy that believes even an extra pinch of salt makes it a different recipe. Haven't you ever tasted beans in 500,000 different ways? Even canned beans could taste differently depending on who actually like makes them. Again, maybe it's just me. But the idea that I want to kind of like project is I think I think stealing and copying are practically the same thing and are very much necessary. I'm so sorry. But one takes into accord like why are you copying this? Am I copying this because I want to score better points in basketball? Or I'm copying this because it makes me a better basketball player. So if you're basically taking somebody's move in order for you to be better at, in order for you to score more goals or to maneuver better, then you're copying. But if you're taking somebody's moves in order for you to be a better basketball player, then technically you're stealing. Because stealing means it becomes yours. Copying means he still has the original. I'm just basically, I have a copy of it. I admit, naturally, everything I see in this world makes me reflect on what I am actually trying to approach. And that's limited, kind of like, I don't know if it's limited, but for me, the scope of this world and what I want to do in it is very much like oriented, not limited, oriented. And I very much realize that everything around us is definitely something that we can be a part of. But most of the time, it's not that we lack the understanding, we lack that connection. And I feel that connection is the same difference between copying and stealing. Because we're with one, you're using it as a tool, while the other one becomes part of your arsenal. And with everything that you're trying to do, there's always that like state where you're in, where you're learning something new, where you're approaching something new. And on the good days, you know how to do it because you're copying how it's done. And on the better days, you understand what you're doing because I think you're imposing a part of yourself on it. And that way it becomes a part of you. It's just a different way, I guess, to kind of compare knowing something versus understanding something. And I decided to make a video of it. I don't know, guys. I've talked about this way too much. But as always, I love you. Thank you for listening. It's a video.